everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are really excited today to have Fiona Gubelmann back with us. It's been a couple of years since we got a chance to talk with you. And thank you so much, Fiona, for coming on the podcast.
Of course. I'm so excited to be back. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. How have you been? It's only been 3 years.
I know, right? But it feels like so much has changed in
I
those
know,
3
right?
years.
Yeah.
When I first met you, when we did the last one for Royally Ever After, that is, I believe found out that I was becoming a series regular on The Good Doctor.
Yeah, it just started.
Then now it's been, we're in our 5th season, and
Amazing.
so it's definitely, life has definitely changed.
Yeah, congratulations. That's very exciting.
Oh, thank you so much.
How was quarantine for you? Were you were you in Canada for it?
Yeah, so it was the last few weeks of Good Doctor. We really started we were paying attention to the news, the COVID virus, and just because a few of our cast members go back and forth to the US, and where they were at the time, they were living in the US. And so we were watching it very carefully. They were at this time, they were already wearing goggles and masks, N95 masks on the plane, and being very, very cautious. And then we wrapped March 3rd of 2020. And then my family, we were going to go down and visit the US from Canada. We were going to head down. We had our whole trip planned for the hiatus to see everyone. And every day that passed, we were getting more and more nervous about the trip. And we finally decided to cancel it. And then less than a week later, everything shut down. So we were up here for a solid year and a half before we left the country to go see our family.
So how much of the show of the season you were working on had you all finished when things got pulled?
We finished season 3 2 weeks pretty much before everything shut down.
Wow.
So we were really fortunate to finish our season, and then we went back and shot a full season 4, and we just went back a little late into production, and then we ended up having to do a lot of Saturdays. We shot 6-day weeks, a majority, I would say, of the season. So it was definitely a bit tougher, and really the people it was the toughest on were the crew, because they were working, full days, 6 days a week, and then our writers, because they had to write the season in such a rushed pace, and then also thinking about all the COVID things, the COVID precautions, and how to work that into the world of the show.
When did you guys start back up?
For season 4, we started mid to late August 2020. So we were supposed to be the first show back actually up here, but we had a bumpy start and so we were delayed a few weeks, and so I think 2 other shows might have started before us.
Was that kind of surreal getting back into things?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really hard because for about, I think, 6 or 7 months I hadn't been around any people. So to suddenly be around large groups of people was very uncomfortable. And then this was a show that we'd already worked on for 3 years together, and so to come back and have everyone in masks and PPE and not be allowed to stand close to anybody, you had to be at least 6 feet away from people, and having all those precautions in place, it just really felt like the pandemic was in your face. Like you couldn't pretend that things were normal, so you were constantly aware of it. And then the first 2 episodes we did of season 4 took place during the pandemic. That were set in the pandemic world, and so that first month of work was pretty hard because of the subject matter. It took its toll emotionally on us, I would say, and I think we were all relieved to get past that. But it was also I mean, it was very humbling when you are pretending to be a doctor and you're having to go through all the medical stuff that real people are doing. And at the end of the day, I can take it all off, and I'm just playing pretend. And then you realize that there's actually nurses and doctors and other frontline workers that are out there and doing this for months on end, years on end now, and they don't have an escape from it. And their lives are way more on the line than ours are. And it gave you such an appreciation for how hard they work and what they're sacrificing and what they're doing.
I was going to ask about that COVID episode because that got some press, some news and things. And did that make you feel more secure or less secure as far as the virus having to play out the episode, or really didn't have any effect?
I don't know per se how much of an effect it had in that sense. I mean, I think
Mhm.
it just having like I was pretty affected, I would say, emotionally by the pandemic, as I think most people were.
Mhm.
But I definitely struggled with depression and anxiety throughout it, and really worried so much about, I was in a very fortunate position to for many reasons, and then to have found like both my mom and sister lost their jobs, and to see what it was like, to know what the strain was just on them, and then also to have close friends have relatives die due to COVID. And just like
Mhm.
there was so much going on. And then I'd be watching the news and just seeing how it just devastated me to see all these people that were struggling for food, struggling for just companionship, just so many things. And so
Mhm.
throughout, the pandemic, especially those first 7 months, like I was really trying to find ways to give back, to help other people. Um, but at the same time, I was still living in my little bubble at home, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't seeing it firsthand. And so when we went back to work, and suddenly it was, not only was this usual space that we lived in different because we were aware of the fact that people were wearing PPE. So it's like, again, you couldn't
Mhm.
pretend the virus wasn't there, but the storyline was all about like a character that my character cared about, and a fellow actor that I really liked. They died from COVID, and just to have to act out the reality of those losses and those deaths,
Mhm.
and it just took a toll. And again,
Yeah.
nothing compared to what people were actually experiencing and dealing with on any level.
Right.
For me, it was definitely hard, but
Mhm. Did you have any coping mechanisms like making sourdough, or
yeah.
some of these things that people were doing?
Oh gosh. I a little bit, I would
Mhm.
say. I mean, exercise is one that that's always been a good stress release for me. I got back into reading a lot, which was nice, kept up. I made it my goal to read one fiction book a month that is basically from somebody else's perspective in the world. Like I was like, I don't want books that center around a white male who is heterosexual, cisgender.
Mhm.
Like I wanted characters that had different experiences in the world. Um, and so I've continued to do that, and it's been quite wonderful because I've read some incredible novels, but also it's just really helped to open my mind and expand my understanding of things that I didn't have before. So
Mhm.
that was a huge one. And I
That's
also
cool.
watched all the shows. I watched
Yeah.
all the TV.
Yeah. Have you binge watched a bunch?
Yes, yes, I did. I mean, I feel like, but I don't know about you, but I feel like there's still so much out there. There's
Mhm.
still
Oh
so
my,
much to watch.
a day doesn't go by that somebody doesn't say, you gotta watch this show. You gotta watch this show. And I'm like,
Oh my God, I still want to watch The Wire and The Sopranos. Like those are, I mean, I am like, I have a long list. I'm trying to catch up on season 4 of Handmaid's Tale right now.
oh yeah.
Um, oh, so good. I had a friend's show Midnight Mass come out, so I had to binge that because it was amazing. And but yeah, I'm gonna get back to Handmaid's Tale soon.
Yeah. People are all tweeting about Squid Game, and I'm like, how am I supposed to fit this in? I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, you know what I did was I watched the first episode just to see. So I'd be like,
Mhm.
okay, what is this exactly? Um, and so, but and of course now I'm hooked, but
Mhm. Yeah.
but
That's
there's
what I've
shows I
heard.
watch with my yeah. But how about you? How have you been? How
Uh,
did you find any cool hobbies and stuff?
yeah, I mean, it was definitely challenging. I mean, I was lucky that I work from home, so that part of it wasn't a transition, that I was already used to. But still, it was definitely tough, especially at the very beginning when they were worried that they thought I might have COVID, but then I
Oh,
didn't have it. But they didn't want me to be around my parents. And so that was tough because my parents live about 10 minutes from me. And so I didn't get to see them on Easter last one in 2020, things like that. And stuff like that. That was hard, but got through it. I did watch way more television than I usually do because usually since I'm a film critic, usually I'm a movie person, not a
yeah.
TV person. But I had, a lot of fun with different shows. I mean, something like Bridgerton was really fun
Oh,
for
so
me.
much fun. So much fun. Oh,
It was really good.
yeah.
Yeah. And of course my mind is blank at the moment, but no, there were a lot of really good shows, things like The Mandalorian and Ted Lasso. Oh, the best.
Yes, Ted Lasso was incredible. I can't wait to watch the second season. That's on my
Oh,
list. And then I watched the first episode of Mandalorian and I thought it was fantastic. So that's another one I have to get back and watch. The problem is that because of my work, I have such little time to watch TV. And then my
yeah.
husband, he'll binge, like he'll watch the Mandalorian in 2 weeks, and then I'm like, when am I gonna watch it? We only have one TV, so it's hard to. But yeah, so
Mhm.
uh,
I did start to do puzzles for the first time. That was pretty
oh
exciting. I never
yeah,
really
I
had
can't.
done puzzles.
Oh, I'm a puzzle addict. Um, oh my gosh. What was I gonna ask you? Did you find any good ones or like any tricks to puzzles?
Well, my friend, she is able to kind of make sort of mini puzzles, it's like divided up into these like little groups, and it's amazing. She does it so fast. I can't even believe it. Yeah, but every time I did it with her, so that was helpful.
Oh,
She
that's
was
really
good.
fun.
Yeah.
That's I love puzzles and doing games with friends. Like
Mhm.
I'm all about that. But I that's really cool.
I
I never
remember last time you talked about your ornament party, and I was thinking,
yes.
oh, that must have been hard for Fiona to not be able to have Christmas and things like that the way. I mean, it's hard for all of us, but some of us are more social
Yeah,
than others.
it was definitely sad to be away from my family on Christmas, and
Yeah.
especially because I have nephews and um they are young, and so I felt like I
Mhm.
was definitely missing out on that period of their life. But
Yeah.
I did do the ornament party virtually,
Oh, you did?
and that was very fun. So it was a great way to just like see everyone's faces, and I set it up ahead of time so everyone had one person they chose, and then they mailed them an actual ornament, and so then everyone got their ornament in the mail, and they had to hold it until that day, and then they would open it
Mm,
while on Zoom and stuff. So
that's so
that was
cute.
fun. Yeah.
I'm glad you still
Um,
did something.
yeah, it was different. We had to adjust, of course, but
Mhm.
yeah. Thank you for asking and thank you for
Yeah.
remembering. That's so sweet.
Yeah, eh, my 40th birthday was in January, and I had big plans I was gonna go on the Disney cruise. That was my hope, but obviously that didn't
Oh,
happen, of course.
yes.
So we ended up my family, we did a, virtual murder mystery party thing.
Oh, fun.
So it was the Great British Knockoff is what it was called. And it was all themed around the Great British Bake Off, and it was really fun. It was actually a very, very of a good time. So that, you make things work.
Oh my God, I love that. I'm so
Hmm.
sorry though about the cruise. Are you gonna try to do it again in the future?
Oh, definitely. They have a new
Okay.
ship that is coming out next year called the Wish. And I hope they'll be able to get some good deals because they're,
Yes.
new. So hopefully by next year, I have done some traveling, but hopefully by next year's, I would feel comfortable on a cruise like that. That to me, like a cruise is kind of scary still. It's so closed and you're like stuck there in the water. Like, I don't know. It makes me a little nervous. It would make me nervous.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Someday, I
I
hope
just feel
so.
like we're living in this new world, this new reality. I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. Um,
Yeah.
well, so you all ended your season with a mission trip to Guatemala in the show
Yes.
on Good Doctor. And so what was that all like? Did you do that were you still in Vancouver to filming
Yeah.
it or okay?
Yeah. I listen, I've been pitching for years. Let's go to Hawaii. Do Good Doctor Hawaii. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet.
Spin-off.
Or Australia, Good Doctor Australia. um, right? Yeah.
Like
Morgan goes to Hawaii.
like Morgan goes and works in Hawaii for a thing. That'd be perfect.
But um what was I gonna say? We shot it all here in Vancouver. We shot it in a few different locations outside the city, and one was a few hours away actually. But we we did. They were able to make it work in terms of the sets. I thought it looked
Hmm.
amazing what they did.
Hmm.
I thought they did a really good job, and it was it was really fun shooting those episodes because we all got along so well as a cast. And so when we all get to be together in a group like that, it's pretty fun. I mean, last
Hmm.
season for Morgan, I was really split apart from everybody. I kind of had my own storylines, and the only person I'd work with mainly would be Will. So
Hmm.
getting to do those two episodes where it was all the cast together was quite lovely.
Hmm.
And we just had so much fun. But at the same time, it was bittersweet because Antonia was leaving, and she's such a dear friend and such a lovely presence that we were all very upset that she was leaving.
Hmm. Now your character is very competitive, or at least started out that way. How is that for you to kind of tap into that energy?
Um, it's yeah. She First of all, yeah. is- Morgan is definitely competitive still. I don't think that will ever be something that she's not. I mean, that's just kind of a part of who she is. But I think the one thing that people don't quite always realize is that she's competitive in like a sporty way. Like she grew up as an athlete, and so to her, competing with people is a fun challenge. She would never do something um to necessarily, she would never try to sabotage someone. The competition to her still needs to be clean, if that makes sense. And so she's competitive, but it's a sport, it's a game for her. So I think that's always there. But
Mhm.
to say, Morgan has definitely evolved greatly over the past 5 seasons. It has just been such a joy to be on this journey with her and to see all the ways in which she changes and the things that she does and the ways in which she grows. It's been quite fabulous.
Great. That sounds great. We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever. forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
We have a new Hallmark movie coming out this weekend. Very exciting.
I
Called The Vows We Keep. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the movie and your role?
The Vows We Keep it's a little different than some of the other Hallmark movies I've done, because those have been more just, I would say, more romantic comedies. And this is considered one of their Hallmark movies and mysteries.
Mhm.
And it's just absolutely like it was such a fun experience, because I got to work with a dear friend of mine, Zibby, who plays my sister in the movie, and so we got to have so much fun doing that. And then just like everyone in general on the film was so lovely, and our incredible director Jess and the producers. But anyway, sorry, I'm totally I'm going off on a tangent. But basically I play an event planner who is kind of at this crossroads in her life where she's not quite happy with her work and where she is, and she ends up through different thing she ends up through this film sort of growing up a bit. Is about her sister has this wedding planned at this beautiful wedding venue called the Rosewood, and her sister finds out that the Rosewood is being sold, and her sister's upset. And so I'm able to convince the owners of the Rosewood to allow us to throw my sister's wedding in 3 weeks. And so it's kind of, so that you have the relationship with my sister, you have my relationship with the people selling it, and then you have my relationship with myself and the growth that my character has. And when I read this script, I was just so excited about it, because it was just a departure from the films that Hallmark normally does. I'm not sure if you know this, but they've been really kind of changing their typical films and trying to broaden their audiences, but also just be more inclusive in their storytelling. And I was really drawn to the fact that it was a female director, a female producer, that it was very much an ensemble piece where 2 of the main characters were women in their 70s. My character is in an interracial romance relationship. My sister's getting married to someone of a different faith, and it just felt that it was very very progressive, and I was really excited to be a part of that. And it's just a really sweet movie, and I just can't wait for people to see it. I'm very excited. We shot this back in May, so I'm just thrilled that it's coming out now.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because when we read the summary, we were like, this sounds like a Hallmark channel, not a Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. So it does have, from what you're saying, it sounds like it does have that emotional weight that you want from a drama, more of a drama.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a drama. It's not as much of it's not as light as some of the past ones. The relationship between the 2 sisters, there's definitely a bit of a mystery there, and a bit of you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on, and they have a past, and so there's that. And yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of crying in the movie, but in a good, beautiful way. And I'm just trying to think of ways not to spoil too much, but it was just so much fun. And it just felt, it's about something, it's about relationships and growth. So I really,
Antonio
and saying,
Antonio is a good friend of ours, and he raved about it. He had great experience and working with you and everything, and that must have been fun to work with him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, it's so funny because he's hilarious, and he's just such a sweet man. And he reminded me at first a lot like Brendan Penny, who I did Easter Under Wraps with, and it turned, and I was like, you guys remind me, like, you have similar humor. And it turns out that they're good friends. And so we would send funny videos to Brendan and try to mess with him, because Brendan and I have stayed in touch and have remained good friends from our film, and it was lovely. So
Mhm. What was it like to shoot one of these movies with all the, like, the COVID restrictions and everything like that?
well, um, I think because I was one, so we're so strict on the Good Doctor, even this season with everyone being fully vaccinated. It's still so strict that um this film was done just it was differently. Like on the Good Doctor, we're tested at least 3 times a week. You're
Mhm.
like I was, like I literally I went and got my COVID test this morning. I was like coming back from there to come to do this interview. We It's just completely different. But we shot um are the Vows We Keep almost entirely outdoors.
Mm.
And or the scenes indoors would be with very, very small people. And so it felt very safe. That was actually something I was nervous about because I knew that the testing and stuff would be different. But when I called the director before I signed on to do the project, I spoke with the director, and she had worked with these producers before. And I'd actually had remembered her telling me about this a year prior about her experiences with them. But Kim, like the producer, it's such a Jess, our director, had mentioned that this was the safest she'd felt working on an indie film in the past year. She was right. Like they were super great with making sure everyone had their PPE on and was following protocol. But they also rewrote the script so that almost the entire thing was shot outside. And if there were indoor scenes, it was very small groups of people. And I'd be working with Zibby, who's like a good friend, and she was one of the few people I'd spent time with outside of the pandemic. And I knew Antonio was safe because he had a newborn at home. And so I just felt,
Mhm.
it just felt very safe on the set.
And you have to do a lot of ADR if it's all shot, outside or most of it shot outside?
What's funny is I did the least amount of um ADR on this film that I've ever done on another
Oh,
Hallmark film.
interesting.
So yeah, I don't know. But it was great. Kim Arnott, the producer, one of the producers on it from up here in Canada. She was so lovely though, and she and her team, they did such a phenomenal job making sure that we felt safe and that they were following protocol. So
Mhm. Was it fun kind of putting on a wedding? I may assume that there's a wedding in the movie, having all of that. I've always thought that must be kind of fun to have a fake wedding.
yeah, I mean, I I would say yes. I was just really glad that I didn't have to be in the bride dress this time
Oh, yeah.
because they're always so uncomfortable when you think about wearing it for like 2 days, 3 days,
Right.
And so, but it is fun to get to do that and just to get dressed up. And our costume designer in this film was amazing, and we had, oh my gosh, all these gorgeous hair pieces in the movie that France Lux sent over for the film. And so we just had the cutest hair pieces that were like really fun. You can see like Zibby, like she and I had these beautiful pieces for the wedding, but then just kind of throughout the whole thing, we had just fantastic stuff. And I really
Mhm.
enjoyed that. I love that. I wear a lot of France Lux stuff on the Good Doctor, and that was how I found them. And then they sent some stuff to the movie, which was so fun. So I
That
don't
is
know.
cool.
It's a departure too, because on the Good Doctor, I wear very simple makeup, and my hair is it always looks gorgeous. But again, it's very, it's realistic. It's pretty simple because I'm working in a hospital, so I don't
Yeah.
get to have fun with cute hair clips and things like that and accessories.
Mhm. Yeah, that would be fun. And yeah, I've always thought that, oh, it's a shame they don't just have somebody get married. They set up all these weddings and it's all there. They should just have somebody get married.
Have an actual wedding.
Yeah. Make it a
Um,
contest or something.
yeah,
But
right.
yeah. But
That actually is a great idea.
yeah. Well, we're excited for the film. Definitely. I think it sounds really good. And especially the casting and everything. I think it'll make it a really special. So that'll be fun coming up. And so last time you were with us, we did our regular fun questions. We have, since you've already done those, we have some holiday themed
Oh,
questions. I
okay.
know. So put on your Christmas cap.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
Okay. What is your favorite holiday drink?
Eggnog.
Mm, yeah. No. All right. What is your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Oh gosh. Okay. I first of all, I said eggnog like it was like a torturous drink, by the way. I love eggnog. Sorry. I was just so like I get like competitive and I'm like, oh, it must answer quickly. So but I love eggnog. My favorite treat. I love I can't remember the name of the cookies, but they're like little white almond cookies covered in powdered sugar.
Oh yeah.
And like I want to say they're like Mexican wedding cookies or something like that, but I'm
Hmm.
probably completely wrong. But the other thing that I really, really love to eat at Christmas is we always in my family, like Christmas morning, we wake up and we have champagne and um Tosca and chipped beef on toast for breakfast. Now,
Oh.
let me just say, I'm a vegetarian, so it's not actually chipped beef on toast, but it's a vegan, gluten-free version that we have figured out. And so we have that for breakfast. And then I make this thing called Tosca, which is this cake that has almonds on it and sugar. It's basically like a lot of sugar. So that's like my whole life we've done that. You know, obviously I didn't start having champagne until I was older, but that's like our big special Christmas morning tradition. So
How did
that's
that
what I
evolve?
really
The
love.
chipped beef and
Well,
everything.
my mom, you know, it's I don't know. Like my mom is British, and so she, I feel like the chip beef was just something they did in their family, and then the Tosca. I need to ask her about that because I think that was actually introduced to Christmases with my paternal grandmother,
Uh-huh.
and so I think that is when they started doing that. And but it's just so delicious, and it's yeah. So that's how I like to spend my Christmas mornings, and
Hmm.
then yeah, and then last year I made some amazing with the help of a friend. We made the most beautiful like Christmas cookies, and she's
Mm.
amazing at decorating them. I need her help again this year.
No, that sounds
um,
fun.
yeah.
I love traditions like that. It was funny last year. It was only me and my parents at Thanksgiving, and usually we have, friends, family, large group. And my mom only made one pie because it's like three people. They don't need more than one pie, of course. But it was so weird. Like it was like, what is this Thanksgiving with one pie? Like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh. One year at Christmas, we did, or Thanksgiving, I think we did 9 pies. We were crazy
Yeah.
that year. But but yeah, I mean, it's hard when it's just yeah, just two of you or three of you, and you're like, well, I guess yeah, you can't have 7 pies or 9 pies or whatever. But
Yes. All right. Well, what is your favorite Christmas song or carol?
um yeah, the Mariah Carey,
Yeah.
All I Want for Christmas, and then I
Mhm.
would say, oh God, it's the one from Home Alone. I'm totally blanking on the name.
Carol of the Bells.
No, that is a great one though. I'm looking it up because I'm
Um,
totally wanting to remember. I want to, yeah, Please Come Home for Christmas. I think that's the one.
oh, okay. Oh yeah, yeah. That's in there.
Yeah.
And they have Rock Around the Christmas Tree and Home Alone as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They're gonna have a new Home Alone this season.
What? Really?
Yeah, new one coming out in November.
Oh
Which
my
I don't
gosh.
understand how you do it because I don't know how a kid gets home alone now when you've got apps and you've got a million ways to contact each other. Like I'm not sure how that
Oh my God. Have
happens,
you
but
seen that? Like, there's like a, if Home Alone was made, um,
oh, the ad with Macaulay Culkin.
it was like if Home Alone was made now, it'd be a 5-minute movie.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's what
you
I'm
know,
saying. I'm like, how are they going to make this movie? But
yeah, it was like Kevin's mom calls from the airport, and then,
yeah.
oh yeah, like, oh, you're at home? Okay, we'll be right there.
Yeah,
Bye.
I
Like,
mean,
I mean,
because
it
you
was
could
like
not
roll credits. It was
yeah,
so funny.
you could find out that he's home and you could have food delivered and caretaker, Santa sitter or whatever. You could do
Exactly.
everything from Paris. It would be no big deal.
Yeah, it
That's
was. That's so funny.
but they're coming up
Yes,
with
I.
something, so that'll be
Oh my
interesting to
gosh.
see.
Well, we'll have to
Yeah.
see. There's so many
Yeah.
movies coming out. I bet you're
I
very excited.
know. For it's going to be on Disney Plus, and so that should be fun. Yeah, like everybody's doing a Christmas movie, even on Discovery Plus. Like on there, they're going to have one on there with Ree Drummond from the Food Network. And I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I'm just looking up the cast for this Home Alone movie, and it looks great.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
Disney
I'm
can
gonna be
deliver the
watching
cast.
this.
Hmm.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yes. So speaking of movies, what is your favorite classic Christmas movie?
Uh,
Elf. It's a Wonderful Life.
no. It's the one where A Wonderful Life. Thank you. I was like,
Yeah.
not Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh,
We
it's
watch
good.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
every year. So it's such a beautiful film, and I love it so much. So
It's so
that's
good.
it.
I love it too. All right. Which do you prefer, Scrooge or The Grinch?
Oh my God, Scrooge is one of the best movies of all time. So Scrooge.
Good.
Oh,
Okay.
but you meant like Scrooge or Grinch. I just, you were talking about movies, so I had to say Scrooged.
Yeah.
That's another one we watch, Scrooged, every year at
It's a
Christmas
fun
time.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I
Nightmare
love.
Before Christmas is kind of like
Yeah.
all fall.
That's
So
like your transition movie from
yeah,
Halloween to
yeah,
Christmas.
exactly.
Which do you prefer, clear lights or colored?
Both. I know that's like a lame answer, but I like both. We have a fake artificial Christmas tree. We usually do
Mhm.
colored on it, and we like colored outside, but there's something so magical about like white twinkle lights, like in
Mhm.
trees, kind of all year round, honestly. So maybe color it Christmas and white all year round. How's that?
Very good. Very good. Which would you rather do, be in a snowball fight or build a snowman?
Build a snowman.
Good. All right. Or would you
Snowballs
consider?
hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Would you consider yourself to be a good gift wrapper or not?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, if you really work on it.
If I have, yeah, I used to be the one who would like be like, I want to watch. I'm like, oh God, just put it in a bag. And
Yeah.
so I would say that I can be if I choose to be, but but like don't expect it.
All right. Last question. Do you have an
Okay.
ugly Christmas sweater?
Do I have one?
Yeah. What's your ugliest Christmas sweater?
Oh God. I have to email you a picture of me in my ugliest Christmas sweater. It's hilarious. I'm gonna email you that. It's very, very funny. We did ridiculous. My husband and I, again, used to, when we had energy and time and sleep, we would make like hilarious Christmas cards and send them out every year. And we did we did, yeah. So I'll have to find those and send it to
Yeah.
you.
That'd be fun.
I think right now, I know I have one. I just can't remember. I, of course, have one that my good friend Anne gave me, this cute, like, I'd rather be watching Hallmark Christmas movies and drinking wine shirt that I'll have to wear this Sunday night when the movie airs.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that would be great. Speaking of that, where is your social media if people want to reach out to you?
Oh, it's very hard. It's my name at
Okay.
Fiona Gubelmann, which actually is hard because I mean Fiona Gubelmann is not the easiest name to spell, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much
At
for
Fiona
taking the
Gubelmann.
time to talk with us. It was so much fun, and hopefully we won't be 3 years before we do it again.
Oh my gosh, absolutely not. It's always such a pleasure to chat with you, and thank you so much for reaching out and making this happen. I was so excited.
Well, we're looking forward to the new movie. And so if you're listening, let us know what you think of all the things we talked about. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And also make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have the Patreon group and merch store. Check all of that out. And thanks again, Fiona. We really, really appreciate it. And we hope you have a really great fall season. And
thank you. You too.
good luck with more of the Good Doctor as well. And we will hopefully talk again soon. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. I hope so. Bye.
Bye.